Okay, everybody, this is Sheets, and I guess this is the first hockey video I'm going to be doing. And it's a very unique day because today and tomorrow are the 2 days that remain in the All-Star break of the NBA. And it's interesting because these 2 days are where basically hockey just kind of rules the roost, where all the NBA players, well, not all of them, but most of the people that do play DFS on a daily basis will kind of force their way into playing some hockey. I had this discussion with Brandon from NASCAR last week, and I referenced this for a couple of reasons. One of them being that I'm sure that the uber professional hockey players relish these days because it gets a whole new pool of players into their lineups or into their contests. So this is the way I would like to approach this slate. There are two types, and this is what we discussed in the NASCAR video. There are two types of players that you want to get an edge on in these types of slates. There's one is the ultra casual player that doesn't know anything and they just want to just put something in. You're not too worried about them because they're going to lose anyway. I also said that you really can't beat the uber experts either, okay? But what you can also do is attempt to beat the sort of casual players, like the people who are smart enough to have an account on Roto Grinders or Awesemo or whatever, and at least build lineups using their top plays and things like that. And those types of people know just the basics, at least, of how to play hockey, which is to stack the crap out of your teams. Don't play guys against your goalies. Typically, you don't want to double punt a defenseman. And, those are basically the basics. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go over my selections, but also an overall slate preview. Like, for example, I did do the same thing as I do for the other slates, right? I assemble my projections, I do my whatever, and then I rank them in my way, and then I just kind of figure out who quote unquote the best plays are, and then we figure out the best way to approach them. So I may as well just kind of show you who I believe are the best plays, if that means anything to you, with the idea of, again, you'd like to stack these guys that are kind of on the same line. So I don't have the list here of what the everybody on the right line is, but you can kind of figure that out. The guy who's going to emerge as the top value on the slate is going to be Vladimir Pterasenko. I can give you the whole details of it. He just came back from an injury, I think. He was minimum cost in his first back, and now he's back again. And he's still just very, very cheap. And as you'll see, his ownership rates to be one of the highest players on the slate, about 25%. So that's one thing. Secondly, is a very popular group of players going to come from this Edmonton game, right? Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, who are probably going to be playing together, if that's possible. And also with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. But Ryan Nugent-Hopkins doesn't rate to be as good of a play as these other two, but these are going to be obviously very popular plays and very high scoring plays. And you'll see, Darcy Kemper's the best, best goalie and things like that. So if you want to take a quick snapshot on who I think the best plays are, this is what it is. But this is the way I'm going to approach a slate like this. Okay. So let's pull this out, and we're going to pull this up. The first thing that people like to do, like the ultra casuals, for example, is they'll look and see, who they've heard of, what the kind of the famous players are, and they'll play those guys. And the guys that are the most famous players that I kind of mentioned there are Connor McDavid. He's the top player on the slate as far as name recognition goes, and people are going to really try to go out of their way to play him. And, they're going to play a lot of them, and not to mention the fact that he probably projects well also. His ownership is naturally going to be just higher than it would be otherwise. So honestly, I'm going to be fading. I'm going to probably be fading most of this Edmonton stuff for exactly that reason. However owned I think they're going to be, they're just going to be higher owned because the combination of, number one, the casuals, number two, the people who follow the slate, follow the big companies, they're going to be turned on to these guys too, because honestly, they're going to be giving those types of plays out because they want to just, just kind of show people that they're good at both hockey and other sports. So they'll give the obvious plays, the safest plays, and you're going to see a lot of that if you have accounts of these places. They're going to be dragging you to this Draisaitl and McDavid business, and they're going to be really, really high on. So I'm going to be fading it. You guys can do what you want, but that's at least talk about true DFS and true transparency. That is the way I'm going to play it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight some other games to stack who are going to be a little less popular. One is going to be one is the St. Louis, because as I mentioned before, this guy Pterasenko rates to be a really, really good value. So what I'm going to probably do is try to stack around that a little bit. So we're going to hear about guys like O'Reilly or Shank, okay? And again, so you can go ahead and you can stack St. Louis and use Pterasenko in that way. The other thing I found is that Binnington is a pretty well projected goalie, so you can correlate him with the other St. Louis guys as well. The other team that I'm going to be going after is Montreal. Now again, they're not going to be completely low owned, but they're going to be certainly lower owned than Edmonton. So what I'm going to be doing is just taking these mid-range teams. So the guys to keep in mind are Nick Suzuki. He's a kind of a low-priced center. Two good defensemen, Petrie and Weber, and then Druin is the other main part of the Montreal line. So that is one way I'm going. Another thing that I'm doing, again, I'm doing St. Louis, I'm doing Montreal, and I'm also going to be doing a decent amount of Vegas as well, because Chandler Stevenson is really, really cheap for a line one center. So I'm going to be building around him also. So again, if you wanted to play, what I would do, honestly, is you could take a look at this if you want, I'm just really literally ranking them in this way. Okay. And if you want, you go ahead, go take the best play from each position, stack them up with the similar team names and play, a lineup like that. If you really want action, you're going to probably get a well-projected lineup. You might not get the most lower lineup, but maybe. This guy, Richard Raquel, is actually okay as a one-off because he's not only projects decently, but he's rates to be kind of low-owned also. So again, if you want to play, that's something you can do. Tanner Pearson looks to be pretty good, Vancouver side also, but he might be a little bit too chalky. So if you do want to play hockey, that is what I'm doing. Let's look at goalie for just a second. Again, so it's Darcy Kemper. The other thing you have to keep in mind, by the way, make sure that you double check and make sure all these guys are starting, because goalies can be a little bit volatile with respect to the last half hour before post time, so to speak. Just make sure that, if you have a goalie that doesn't play, you're dead. So just make sure that all your guys are playing. And again, what I would do, honestly, take 4 guys from one team, 3 guys from another. Try to make sure they're on the same lines. Don't double punt defense, and and have some fun with it. And look, if you want to play Edmonton, I did play like 1 or 2 Edmontons, but those Edmontons are really just littered with like a lot of just really low price guys. And that's pretty much it. Good luck, everybody. And I'm going to be doing this. May as well do this tomorrow also. So good luck with the NHL. God forbid anybody wins one of these things. We are really going to rub it in.